Now 250,000. Now, but to get 275. High, but to get 275. 3. Now 300,000. Now 3 1/4. 325. High, but to get 3 1/4. But to get 325. Now half. Now, but to get 300. And greetings from Dallas, Texas, the center of America. Welcome to the Mike McGavel Jones Show here in Dallas at Lincoln Center at 635 in the North Dallas Tollway. And we want to welcome you to another episode of our show. Today we're going to talk about auctioneering and how that plays into what I do, and then also for people who are interested in becoming an auctioneer or looking into it, we're going to tell them how to do that. And so that's kind of the focus of the conversation today. People have asked over the years, how did you get in the auction school business? And I'll just tell you that briefly, by working for an auctioneer in high school, it gave me the opportunity and afforded me the opportunity to be around a professional that knew how to conduct auctions. So from setting up an auction to interacting with people, unloading furniture from Europe and working for clients like Judge Roy Hoffines that built the Astrodome, and his son was the mayor of Houston. Those were the type of people that we were surrounded by that went to auctions, specifically antique auctions back then. And so, but my grandfather took me to auctions when I was a kid. We used to go to these box lot auctions up in Gainesville, Texas, and we had people. We had an auctioneer named Jess Ramsey. He was just a country auctioneer, wore bid overalls, and then he had an auction house. It was just a barn. And then there was another barn that he was involved with, and he hired a guy from Munster, Texas, named Don Flushy, and Don was his auctioneer. So Don was working there in Gainesville on Grand Avenue. It was a barn, literally a barn, and but it was fun. It was what we did. We would spend evenings. I can't remember what night the auctions were. It could have been a Tuesday or a Thursday night. But you would buy general merchandise. They used to sell a lot of hand tools and extension cords and box lots, and things would sell for $1 or $2 or $3, and then you'd take it home, take something out. You keep an item, and you'd sell the box the next week or put something in it. But that's kind of the way that was our entertainment back in the 60s. We didn't have but 2 or 3 TV channels, and the TV reception wasn't that great anyway, and we didn't have malls, and we didn't have computers, we didn't have phones, and it was a different time. And so it was a simpler time. I think it was probably an easier, better time just to not be tensed out or worried about where you have to be and all that. So we would go spend 2 or 3 hours at the auction during the week, and then go home and wait for next week, because next week was always something to look forward to. So anyway, when I went to work for the auctioneer in high school, then after my first year of college, I was still working auctions back in Houston, and I decided I'd go to auction school at the not the recommendation of, but just a suggestion. Hey, you might want to go to auction school, and my mother did that, and a shout out to my mother. She just had a birthday, and she's I will, in deference to her, I will not give her age out, but let's just say that she's lived a long, strong life, and she's recovering from her 3rd bout with cancer. So I'm pretty sensitive about the cancer subject. And so she had cancer probably 25 years ago, breast cancer, survived that, fought it, then had kidney cancer and fought that and survived it. And she has just finished radiation for her 2nd bout with breast cancer. So we want to shout out to her and show the love and let her know that we care very much about her and her plight with cancer. And we have a Dallas Cowboy that has Guillain-Barré disease, and my mother has had that at least once. So she's obviously got some cell issues, but she's certainly a fighter. So she's doing well. She looks as good or better than she's looked in years, and so just a shout out to her. So I went to auction school back in '78. It'd be November of '78, and The auction school was very life-changing for me. I was 19 years old. I was hanging out with older people, people in their 60s and 70s and 50s, and people who were trying to start a career. In some cases, it was wanting to start a new career, and in some cases, it was just really a bucket list item. I never will forget. I had a gentleman that was in my class, Weldon Hunt. It's amazing that I can remember his name. Weldon Hunt from Denison, Texas. He was a caboose rider for the Katy Railroad. Katy Railroad's been gone for 50 years. And so he sat in the back of that caboose and practiced his number drills and his tongue twisters so he could go to auction school. So in his 70s, Weldon came to auction school in Kansas City and attended the school. We became friends, and then after I came back and started my auction company when I was, when I was about 20, Weldon would come to my auctions. And so it was just like a family situation. When I had my first auction, I had a couple of guys that went to auction school with me. They came and attended the auction, and it was just it was a special time. Whether a person really wants to be an auctioneer or not, I look at auction school as a life school. I don't look at auction school as just being an auctioneer or owning an auction company. So there's multiple things that you can get from auctioneering school, and I will gladly tell you that the bulk of the people that leave auction school feel like they've had a life experience. And because, yes, we're teaching the chant. That's a given. We are going to teach you how to do the chant. Now, everybody has a different level of learning, a different degree of learning, a different speed. Everyone learns differently. Some things come easy. Some things are difficult. Some things are a little challenging. But at the end of the day, it's a learnable skill. And I think that it's very rewarding to see how people come along. When we first started the auction school, it was a 2-week school. You came in on a Monday. We would normally go from 8 a.m. to, say, 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, normally around 5, and then we'd have the weekend off, and on Saturday and Sunday we would actually conduct auctions. It could be an estate or a business or surplus auction for the DISD here in Dallas, whatever it was, and we used it as a training exercise for them. On Sunday afternoons we would do estate auctions and farm sales and things that needed to be done, consignment auctions, whatever. And sometimes I would put a sale together for them as well. Then we would start back up on Monday morning. Well, then they would have had 2 days to practice what they had learned the first 5 days. And then we'd kick back off that second Monday and then wrap it up the following Friday. Well, as time would have it, over the last 15, 20 years, I'd say about 10 years ago, it went to a 9-day school. And that was because the biggest auction school in the country had gone to 9 days, and people, quite frankly, are not very patient, and they're going to take the shortest route to success. So when they went to 9 days, then most all the auction schools went to a 9-day school. And then about a year ago, maybe a little less, I went to an 8-day school, and I found it was just easier for people. Now, whereas we were a 2-week school, went to a 9-day school because people's need for expediency was so important, and now we've gone to an 8-day school, and the reason for that is now you can come on a Friday and finish on a Friday. So you come on the first Friday, you only lose 1 weekend. So you're not going to be home Saturday and Sunday for 1 week, and then the following Friday you get to travel back home. That's very appealing to a lot of people because when you do a 9 or 10-day school, then they're going to have to be there for 2 weekends. We find that people can easily take off 1 weekend, but it's challenging, especially if they're involved in their church or if they're involved in youth sports or things of that nature. So we want to make sure that we make it as easy as possible. Now, I'll tell you the hard part. The hard part is we start at 8 o'clock in the morning and we go to 7, 8 o'clock at night, sometimes a little later. That may be a little challenging, but at some point you still have to put in the hours. And so we are we're approved for over 80 hours. 80 is the minimum requirement to successfully receive a diploma and take the state test. So we are an 80-plus hour school, and when you get through, you will take a test, and if you pass my test, then you get a diploma, and once you get that diploma, then you can take the state test to become an auctioneer. So, and the state, my test is based on knowledge, auction knowledge. The state test is based more on laws, rules, regs, and ethics. And so it's kind of it's a distinct difference between the two types of test. And I'm in the middle of rewriting our test at this time to make it more current and keep it current. And then I know the state of Texas, Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation that regulates auctions in Texas, is in the middle of starting the process of rewriting the auctioneer test. There won't be a tremendous amount of changes, but there'll be some to keep it current, especially with the law changes that we've had over the last 2 or 3 years. And, I was I was chair at one time of the Texas TDLR Auctioneer Education Group. It's an advisory board. And so that goes back 25, 30 years. So I'm very interested in the laws, rules, and regs, and we want to make sure that people are handling their business correctly and doing a good job and make it good for everyone so that they don't make it bad for everyone. So when you come to auction school, we get started with the basic number drills, and I'll just give you an example of some things that we do. Tongue twisters are first, and we'll start out with rubber baby buggy bumper. 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 And then we move to the next one, which is Tommy Atatimus took 2 T's and tied them to the top of 2 tall trees. Tommy Atatimus took 2 T's and tied them to the top of 2 tall trees. Tommy Atatimus took 2 T's and tied them to the top of 2 tall trees. Tommy Atatimus took 2 T's and tied them to the top of 2 tall trees. Then we go to around the rough and rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran. Around the rough and rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran. Around the rough and rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran. Around the rough and rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran. Around the rough and rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran. And then we go into the sixes, which is 66 sailors sailed the Mississippi in 1666. And it sounds like 66 sailors sailed the Mississippi in 1666. 66 sailors sailed the Mississippi in 1666. 66 sailors sailed the Mississippi in 1666. And then we do the mother of all tongue twisters, and that would be Betty Botter. And I'm going to do it slow, and then I'll speed it up. So we go like this. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better, so 'tis better, Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. Zach, what do you think about that?
I'm going to be honest. At the end there, you kind of just devolved into I caught the beginning with the bit of Betty Butter, but somewhere along the way, you lost me towards the end. And that's just from an understanding standpoint. I'm not sure how exactly you'd rattle that off. But I've been sitting in here with my mic off, quietly trying to imitate and doing horribly. So it's skill, Mike. That's what I think.
Well, it's a combination of rhythm and the knowledge of being able to do the drills and the tongue twisters.
Sure.
So when we do Betty Botter, and that's the one everybody loves because it's kind of, it's just cool. And people love it. And it's not easy for some people, a little harder for others. Now, when I went to auction school, I had not practiced anything before I went. Now, I do not advise that to anyone coming to my school. But I was 19 and not very smart. So, and back then, of course, today we have a CD that we give people, and then they can download it and play it for themselves. When I went to auction school in 78, they basically gave you 33 1/3 record albums. These were vinyl, and I still have the vinyl records today at my home. But if I was doing Betty Botter now, because everybody likes to hear you say it fast, and if you're on here and you want to try to learn this, I'm going to do it one more time slow. And then if you want to join in and do it fast, you can do that. But it's right. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better, so 'tis better, Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. How you like that?
Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. I got the end now. All right. Okay, I can understand it at least. If you start to speed up, it really gets rough.
And the piece that throws people off the most is the very ending where it says, so 'tis better, Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter.
Right.
So let's do it at regular speed. Betty bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter. So 'tis better. Betty bought a bit of better butter. Betty bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So 'tis better. Betty bought a bit of better butter. There you go.
All right. See, I can hear that rhythm in there, but real quick, if you don't mind, hopefully Anna can join in here. I don't think she heard, but a bit of applause from the studio. Well done, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Tremendous.
I'll be here all week.
Betty Botter.
Make sure you tip your waitresses. Okay. And then what we do, and people go, why do you have the different ones? Why these different tongue twisters? Because the different tongue twisters also identify with different numbers, and learning how to roll the bid, roll the number, be able to take those numbers, developing your mouth in a way to say certain numbers, just like the 66 sailors. Obviously, when you do 66 sailors, you're trying to do sixes. Mm-hmm. Well, sixes are most challenging for me and probably for most auctioneers, because when you do sixes, it makes your mouth water big time. And so if I'm saying 66 sailors, it could be like this. 6, you've got to learn the number 6. You've got to learn the number 16. You've got to learn the number 26, 66, 76, 86, 96, 2006, 260, 360,000, 650,000, 660, 700,000, 750,000, 760,000. So you've got to get the sixes down, and you've got to get the roll going. And with the 66 sailors, that's a really good one to work with. So it doesn't matter what the numbers are, but you have to have an ability to work with those numbers and in coordination with the rhythm. And it's all about the rhythm. And then the other thing that I do in my chant is I raise and lower my voice a lot. And it's inflection of voice and how I say the numbers. You know, I can say, all right, how about 50? $50. You say, even right there. How about 50? $50. I'm bid 50. Give me 50. How about 50? Will you give me 50? $50 now, 50. 50. Now 75. $50 bid now 75. $50 bid now 75. Give me $100 here now. 125 now. 150, 150, 150, 75. $200 bid. 2 now. 2 1/4. $250 bid. Learning those numbers and getting the rhythm down gives you the ability to have a unique and different chant. And I just think that that's what you have to work on. I get requests. In fact, I got a request yesterday from an auctioneer in Kansas wanting me to listen to him call an auction that he had done for a charitable group. And he just wanted a critique. He just needed a critique from somebody. And I'm sure he may reach out to other auctioneers too. But it's one of the best ways to practice to be an auctioneer. You need to record yourself. You need to video yourself. You have all the technology we didn't have 50 years ago. And so take advantage of it. You know, set up 3 different cameras. Set up a camera in front of you. Set up a camera just pointed at your mouth. Have a camera that's from the side so people can see what you look like. Those are all things, those are tools that you can use to become an auctioneer. And so at America's Auction Academy, and I haven't even mentioned the name of the school, America's Auction Academy is a derivative of Texas Auction Academy. Texas Auction Academy was started in 1992 here in Dallas, in fact, directly across from Love Field. It's now a hotel building. I believe it's the Wyndham or the Doubletree. It's actually the Doubletree right now, because you know how hotel chains are. They change names and franchises on a regular basis. But if you drive down Mockingbird Lane and you pass Quick Trip, where the Quick Trip used to be a motel site. It was a 2-level motel. And then right next door was the Executive Tower, or Executive Inn. And that was a building that was probably built early 60s, mid to late 60s, somewhere in there. I'd say early 60s. And it was half hotel, half office space. And that's where we started the Texas Auction Academy in 92. And then we've migrated to other locations over time. We are currently, in fact, I'll tell you, Zach, I'm looking at relocating the auction school right now, probably closer in to Dallas proper, just for convenience sake. So that's actually one of the things I'm doing this week, is looking for a new site and interviewing hotels and conference centers and places that would be a good fit for our students. Because quite frankly, we're outgrowing the location where we are right now. So America's Auction Academy, we have some great instructors. I'll just give you a few names, and you can look these folks up on Google if you like to and kind of see what their bios are. Or you can go to our website, americasauctionacademy.com. That's americasauctionacademy.com. Also, if you're interested, you can always go to info at americasauctionacademy.com to get more information. But our website's there. You can look it up. We have a Facebook page. That Facebook page is pretty active. You know, I'm probably putting something on there at least 2 or 3 days a week consistently, and you can kind of see what's going on. During auction school, I actually post live Facebook post, and we also do a charity auction, a fundraising auction, which we broadcast live on Facebook Live. We started doing that about a year and a half ago. And that benefits St. Jude Children's Hospital, Research Hospital in Memphis, and then Scottish Rite Children's Hospital here in Texas Scottish Rite Children's Hospital here in Dallas, which is right down the freeway. You literally, if you drive 15 minutes south of here or 10 minutes south of here, you'll pass Texas Scottish Rite Children's Hospital. So we're very passionate about that as well. But if you, the thing about auction school, it's not just about the chant. Now, I will just give you a really quick example of the rhythm that you use for the number drills. So, we're going to do all the numbers you can imagine, and we're going to do them backwards too, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll go to 100, and then we'll go backwards. So it'll be like 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 199, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91, 90, and we'll go all the way back. And then we'll do 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 20, 22.5, 25, 27.5, 30, 32.5, 35, 37.5, 40, 42.5, 45, 47.5, 50. And we'll get up to 100. It'll be like 97.5, 100, 100, 97.5, 95, 92.5, 90, 87.5, 85, 82.5, 80, 77.5, 75, 72.5, 70. You picking this up, Zach?
Oh, yes. Keeping up, let me tell you. Really.
There's going to be a test.
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. When we get to 100, we go backwards. 95, 90, 85, 80, 75, 70, 65, 60, 55, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. And then we'll do tens. And we'll do that a couple of different ways. We can do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 190, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Okay? And then the other one that we do that we do in school a lot that people like because it kind of blends with the Betty Botter thing. 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100, 90, 90. Now, in the case of the school, we don't actually do the 100. We just go 90, 90, and then we do the turn. 90, 90, 90, 90, 80, 80, 70, 70, 60, 60, 50, 50, 40, 40, 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10. And you do that over and over. You can go 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, Betty Botter bought some butter, Betty Botter bought some butter. So you see the correlation here.
Yeah, no, I'm picking up on it.
Yeah.
You really fall into that. I guess you got to encourage people to do that, to kind of find that tone, right? Because if you're trying to pitch up and down as you do it, you're doomed. You got to find a good kind of pitch and tone to kind of stick with, and that's where you find that rhythm in your syllables. That's
it's kind of like when I do the car sale on Saturdays. For Texans Can Cars for Kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of people tune in and watch me on Facebook Live because I broadcast it on Mike McGavel Jones Facebook page. So if you want to join us on Saturdays, that's great. But we'll start almost every car at $500. Now, it could be a $10,000 vehicle. It may go $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. Most of the time, it's much cheaper vehicles than that. So it'd be $500, $600, $700 bid now, $8 now, $9, give me $900 now, $1,000 now, $1,100 now, $12, $1,300 bid now, $14, $1,400 bid now, $15, give me $15 now, $16, $1,600 bid now, $17, $1,700 bid now, $18 now, $18, give me $18 now, $1,900 bid now, $2,000 bid now, $21 now, $2 now, $3 now, $4 now, $24 now. So anyway, you get the drift.
I guess some of those, it's a story tradition, of course, but I'd imagine some of those car sales, some of the people selling those cars, they got to be a little spooked when you start at 500, right? That's got to freak some of them out a little bit.
Perhaps,
Yeah.
but then also we sell some salvage vehicles and non-running vehicles and some really low-dollar vehicles. I mean, there's some vehicles that do need work, and you're going to have to spend money to get them in operation. So we may ask for 500, and there's no bid. It doesn't go 5.6. It doesn't go 5,750 or 500 now, 1,000. It may go 500. How about $500 bid? The minute we don't get it, you'll see me drop down to 200. 500, 200, 3. I'm at 200 now, 2.5 now, $300 bid now, 4. $400 bid now, 50. Now $500 bid now, 550 down, 6 now, 6 now, 6 now, $700 bid now, 8. So you see how that kind of goes.
You'll get up there, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to go where it's going to go, and you just have to give, and especially the folks that don't go to a lot of auctions, which at Texans Canned, I would say 60% of the people in that room have never been to an auction ever. And so you have your professional dealers that show up. You've got a handful of those, maybe 10. We have a lot of people online. We're growing quite a list of people online. And so a lot of the bids are coming in online. So you'll see me sitting there. And you can go to Mike McGavel Jones right now and look at previous episodes of the car sale. And you'll see that I have a monitor. I had them put a monitor behind me so that when I broadcast this thing, you can actually see the bids coming in behind me as well. That benefits the people that are watching on online and the ones on Facebook. And it also helps the people who are sitting in the stands, because if they can look behind me, they're going to see when that bid comes in. Now, I'm looking all over the place. I've got bid spotters or ringmen, and so I've got Philip Ron and Mario Pacheco and Austin White, and they're working the ground for me. And then I've got a gentleman named David, and David Moore, he's going to be on the online portion. So he's taking bids. So he's relaying bids. So people go, I think we make it look easy. In fact, sometimes, Zach, I think we make it look too easy.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're making it look real easy. That might be detrimental.
I think we do make it look pretty easy, and I think most auctioneers, especially if they're professional and they're pretty good at what they do, I think a great auctioneer makes everything look easy, and that's important. I mean, that's the difference. That's like someone who gets up and does a concert for you. If you like concerts and you go watch professionals perform, you go watch a Tony Bennett perform. I mean, it's just like, wow. The guy's been doing it for 60 years. He's got it down. He doesn't have to think about it. And other than trying to remember lyrics, which as you get older, there's going to be more challenges in that area too. And you'll catch me every once in a while. I have my moments, but I have a senior moment every once in a while. But that's okay too. It also lets people know you're human.
Right.
And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, when you come to auction school, when you come to America's Auction Academy here in Dallas, you're going to learn about the chant. You're going to learn about the voice. You're going to learn how to save your voice. I teach probably, I'm there every day pretty much. I may miss one day if something comes up where I have to pull out for corporate reasons with United Real Estate or United SCS, Strategic Client Services, or one of our United brands. But other than that, I'm going to be there every day. I'll be there to kick off the classes in the morning, and I'll be there when we hand out the diplomas. So people wonder if I'm there. Well, I'm there every day. And
People think you're phoning it in, or what's the?
No, I'm not. No, but there, sometimes there's a perception. Well, he's so busy, he's probably only there every once in a while, or
you are busy.
He comes in 2 or 3 days a week. Now, I'm there every day. And the other thing is, you're going to learn about contracts. You're going to learn about the laws, rules, regs. We do a class on the sections of the law that you need to study to take the state test. We don't give any answers. We don't provide answers, but we certainly direct you to sections that are important to take the state test. And so, because we tell them, you need to read all the law, all the regs, everything related, and plus there's a study guide. The state of Texas provides a study guide, but you have to have those 80 hours from an approved auctioneering school. So, in order to come off the street and become an auctioneer, you've got to attend a class. And we've developed a great class. So we've got Scott Swinson from Austin, Texas. We've got Rich Scher from Monument, Colorado. We have Brad Woolley from Arkansas, who's also the chair of the licensing board up there. So he's the one that signs your diploma in Arkansas. Jimmy Dean Coffey, who resides in Bloomington, Indiana, and also has property and homes and businesses in Oklahoma. So, we've got quite a group of people. We have a technology company come in from Florida that teaches a class. So it's a mixed bag. We've got Sean Terrell from United Country Real Estate in Kansas City. He comes in from time to time. He's not with us all the time, and we've got some instructors that can't make it all the time. So we just accommodate the best we can. But you're going to get all the classes covered, and so we make sure of that. and then we have our fun auction and all that. So it's a really intense week. Philip Braun teaches our auto class. He's with Manheim Auto Auctions, been with them over 20 years, and he's the one that works with me on the weekends. We have Sherry Boots Sutton. She comes in. She lives in Frisco, previously in Missouri. She's an international champion. We have Craig and Angie Meyer, both world champion auto auctioneers and state champions, and just all around great people. So we've got a really good mix of folks, and I'm sure I forgot somebody, but we'll have them on sometime on the show. It's hard to remember everybody, Zach. But,
I can imagine. Yeah, it sounds like it.
So anyway, it's a great time. You're going to learn a lot about how to deal with people, how to dress correctly for an auction, and we cover all segments of auctioneering. So whether it's cattle, cars, real estate, charity, benefit auctions, whatever the different types of auctions there are, antiques, gallery, charity. We have a gentleman come over from Ritchie Brothers that talks about construction equipment auctions. We also have storage auctions. So, if you're interested in auctions or auctioneering, or how to improve your business skills, or how to get up in front of a group of people and present and do proposals, this is the place to be. And Mike Brantley from Ohio comes in, and he has become pretty much the preeminent man behind teaching classes related to ethics and professionalism. So I think that about does it for this week, Zach. It's a passion for me. It's not something I have to do. It's something I enjoy doing. We're running on 27, 28 years now of doing this, and hopefully we'll do it for another 20 years, and somebody else will take it and enjoy it and run with it as well. But if you're interested, it's America's. Just go to www.americas, that's C-A-S at the end, americasauctionacademy.com. Here in Dallas, Fort Worth area, and you can check it out. Also, 972-387-4200 if you want to leave a message, or you can you can send a personal note to info@americasauctionacademy.com. And I'll tell you, it's been a great week. We've had it's a fun time. Most of our classes are going to be between 35 and 40 people. And we do cut it off at 40, Zach. So we're one of those classes. We're more interested in teaching people more one-on-one and personalized service than a group. So
that's the way to go.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
So on behalf of everyone here in Dallas at Lincoln Center, the center of America, Dallas, Texas, for everyone a part of this show, Zach, thank you for being with us. And this is Mike McGavel Jones saying adios, and we'll see you next time. God bless.